Good afternoon, Bitcoin. We're live at day 2 at the Transylvania Crypto Conference. That's never getting old. We're joined by Keto Miner from Nodl.
Hi again.
Yes, hi again. We were just together in Prague. Now we're back again. Has anything changed in the last week?
Yeah, a lot of drama happened.
Lots of drama. Did you pick a fight with CoinDesk this morning? Oh no, that was
CoinDesk. No, I'm not picking fights, but yeah, some unfortunate leak happened.
Yeah.
Got some insider information about how Casa is dealing with some support requests, and actually some support engineer probably went a little too far in the automation of his task. And I wanted to double check the information. I talked about it to the wrong person, and that was released online during my sleep.
So you were sleeping soundly and everything exploded. I can definitely feel it from both sides. I've done support. It's terrible. It's awful. I hate doing support, and I know how you'd want to automate it away, but what did the guy do? Can we go to the specifics without getting anyone in trouble, of course?
Long story short, except so some people thought like a main point is the default password for accessing the device. I will talk about that later. But actually the main issue for me was that the support people were giving away a script, which is basically downloading a file from a third-party website and passing it directly to the shell and executing the commands without the user seeing them. Which is obviously bad practice, and yeah, it wasn't an approved internal procedure. From what I learned from Jeremy Welsh, we had a nice conversation in private. I'm happy he's okay with me talking about it.
Good. Well, and it can be hard. I know from the outside, sometimes I see broken things. I tell people about them. I wait weeks and weeks. Nothing happened. But if you tell people publicly, things will happen, but maybe not what you want to happen. And in general, we just want to fix things and make it better. It sounds like what you're saying, downloading a script, running a remote file, inserting it into your node, especially if your node has some kind of Bitcoin or Lightning or money on it. It's a
basically
device.
anytime anyone gives you a script to run, just download it first, look what's inside, and then run it. That's actually how I learned about this, because someone came to me to ask me, do you think this is safe?
And unfortunately, you just have to tell the truth. If it's not safe, we're talking about people's money. We don't want to hurt Casa's feelings or anything here. That's not what it's about. But it's about making their customers safe, making everyone who uses Bitcoin safe, everyone on the internet safe, and executing a third-party script and all that. This is not good.
The good side is that you actually have to have physical access to the device. So same as with a hardware wallet, consider that if someone puts his hand on your box, it's not safe anymore.
Don't let anyone put their hand on your box, for God's sake, people. We've got a president who does that. Let's not even mention it. But
so let's talk a few minutes about the default password issue, and because the
default password should be default, right?
Yeah, for example.
Default.
That wasn't the case here, but whatever it was. Every device, every router, every router, every embedded device you buy usually comes with a default password. Usually it's printed on a nice sticker under the device. Sometimes it's provided to you by support when you need access to the device. We have that too at Nodl. We have a default password, which is Nodl1234. Everybody knows that it's everywhere in the documentation. And we ask user to change it as soon as they get the device.
Sure.
No one does that.
No one does it. Yes.
So
now, the alternative, printing unique stickers, remotely controlling each device through like a script of iterating through the numbers, something like that, which again could be figured out. You have to iterate through random numbers, I'd suppose, random words, something like that.
Yeah, totally.
That's a possibility, but that's obviously much more expensive.
Yeah.
Right?
So the quick fix is me being here today and asking our nice users to change their password. Go to the end of the quick start guide. I know it's long, but change the password. And the long-term fix is in the new devices we'll ship later this year. There will not be any default password anymore. We will use single-use passwords, generated passwords provided on a piece of paper, or an SSH private key on a USB thumb drive. That hasn't been decided yet. And on the existing devices, the next software update will force users to change the password at first connection.
Excellent.
So as soon as they will connect SSH into the device, they will have to change the password.
Well, that sounds like a good solution. It's going to fix the problem in the
also
future.
in this Twitter storm, some interesting idea came up, which is about using HTTPS or not on local devices. I won't enter the debate of doing or not HTTPS. I'm pro HTTPS anywhere. But of course, when you connect to a local device with a self-signed certificate, you have no idea what the certificate should be. So you just connect, you are told to trust the certificate, whatever it is you see, and that's it. So what we will be also doing, we'll be printing out the fingerprint of the certificate which is generated, which is unique to every device. So when you connect to the device, you'll be able to check that the device is actually the one you're trying to connect to.
Excellent. So you're solving that problem too. Now, last time we talked, you were just about to announce, I'm not sure what it's called, the Samurai Nodl. But the big red box, it has a node inside that runs a Nodl, and it also runs the Samurai Dojo software. So how did that go?
That was crazy. We had a limited edition of 21 units with extra swag and a lower price. It went away.
And they were painted red, very bright red.
I mean, all of them are red, and it's not like a limited run, but these first 21 were like a special run for the first customers buying it, and it was sold out basically in one night.
One night. That's awesome. So you can still get them. You just can't get one of the first 21. And
we'll still figure out how to give you some extra swag with it. The Samurai team is very eager to provide us with swag for the
Excellent. And what kind of things would this allow you to do? So if you had the normal regular Nodl, you have a Bitcoin full node. You can process your own transactions. What does this one allow you to do in addition to all that?
The main difference is it comes with support from the Samurai team. You will still be able to get it on the regular Nodl with an extra fee. So let's rewind a little.
Sure.
All the Nodls will get Dojo.
Okay, great.
For free, without custom support from Samurai. If you want the custom support, there will be a fee for the support. The red box comes with Dojo pre-installed, and it comes with a redundant storage, so you get red one mirrored drives. It comes with fully encrypted storage, so if anyone steals your device, even if he has the default password, you will not be able to access the data.
Great.
And there are a few other physical security features we don't disclose yet.
And I hear it also has excellent specs. People have been looking at the price, but if you put a larger computer in there, larger processor, all these things, the idea being you could run it for more years before it becomes obsolete.
Yeah, it's probably a 4 or 5 years device.
That's fantastic. And where can people buy that right now?
shop.nodl.it. Our new website with the new device is coming soon. It's not ready yet, but it's being tested right now. So yeah, go straight to the shop.nodl.it and nodl.it to get more information about all of this.
Now, I know there's a lot of...
change your password.
Yeah, change your password. Change your default password. Your router, too. I can tell right now your router password is default. I just hacked your router. Now I'm listening to all your transactions. That's bad for you. But what are the main features of the Samurai Dojo? What does it allow users to do?
So Samurai Dojo server allows you to use your Samurai wallet without any external server. So the Samurai servers don't see your public keys.
So right now, if you use the normal Samurai wallet, and they're totally public about this, your transactions go through the Samurai server. So it's fine, but it's just not as private or as secure as
most wallets, actually.
Like most wallets, sure. And I know Airbits and Edge, they always did the same thing. It was always their servers. But if you had this, you would route the transactions through your home computer.
So you will route your transactions through your Nodl. Your phone connects through Tor to your own device, and all the transactions go that way. Also, if you have the Whirlpool mixer installed on any computer, if it's paired with a wallet which is connected to Dojo, the Whirlpool mixer itself will be connected to Dojo as well. So except the coordination server, the pools, the mixing pools, you don't touch any external service.
So you'd be portable, you'd be on the road, maybe use a cell phone network would be the most secure there, Wi-Fi less secure. Then you'd be able to send your transactions through your home Nodl or your home Samurai Nodl. Then you could use Whirlpool to mix your transactions. What would be the benefit of mixing your transactions?
Making your money more confidential. So as we all know probably now, Bitcoin is not confidential.
Definitely not.
Mixing tries to fix that problem.
All right.
So you in each round you mix your coin with 4 other participants, and you can mix it an infinite amount of time with every time 4 new participants, all the same, because it's mixing, so you don't know, it's random.
Can you turn it off and on by default? Do you have to push extra buttons every time?
You can set infinity in your mix, and it will be just mixing until you spend.
So you're just buying coffee, buying a computer, buying all the things you normally buy, and you're not worried about it. You're not covering up your secret transactions, but you just want that human right to privacy, where it's like, obviously, if you were looking at my transaction feed, you'd be like, oh, market downstairs, restaurant in Romania, train ticket to Romania. He's in Romania. We found him, you know, and I'm not doing anything, but clearly you could track me if you could watch my credit card. Would that be the same thing
totally.
here?
And with we do it also on the merchant side. So when we receive any money for our customers for the Nodls, we mix it with Whirlpool too. And so if both the buyer and the seller are mixing, it's really a good way to.
Because if you were a merchant and people weren't mixing and they were just using the same Bitcoin address for everything, which we don't recommend, but much like setting the default password, you can recommend anything all you want. You can say you should use a password manager, but unless it's required, unless it's a demand, people just won't do it. So if you just sent your Bitcoin to the merchant could say, oh, you spent money here, you spent money here. Maybe you even got your Bitcoin from the Silk Road, or you got your Bitcoin from some kind of unsavory operation, and then we could start discriminating against those Bitcoins.
I think there were some cases of people who got arrested just because they got some Bitcoin which were involved in the past in some drug deals.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it's definitely going to keep happening. It doesn't seem like the government or any of these people really understand Bitcoin at all. We've seen the IRS just come out with a great ruling about forks and airdrops, where basically if you wanted to be a big jerk to everyone, you could airdrop a bunch of coins, make them have value, and suddenly you just caused a tax liability for everyone. Maybe you could even then sell a program that would help you figure out how many coins you were airdropped, so you could then meet these tax liabilities. It's just a nice little button-up system right there.
Yeah, every time we talk with some American friends, we are like hallucinating when we hear about all these taxable operations. Like, even if you use your Bitcoin to buy something and rebuy the same amount, it's a taxable operation. I mean, what the fuck?
It's pretty much impossible for normal people to keep up with, and that's the kind of law that is just untenable. It's going to get to a judge, they're going to strike it down, but that's not to say that it's going to not cause a lot of heartache and hassle in the meantime. So I always tell everyone, pay your taxes. Like, always do your best. In the US, it's very unclear. It's very difficult to do it properly. Intention matters, though, I believe. If you try to pay it, I certainly pay mine. I try to pay it all. But yes, it's very complicated.
Yeah, probably same everywhere. I mean, the French tax declaration, if you have not like some most basic situation, it goes easily up to 40 pages.
Well, and that's why the Brits are trying to leave the EU anyways, that 80-page document on how to grow pickles. They just can't stand that level of bureaucracy. But then again, I look at the other side and I say, pickles are complicated. I want the pickles to be healthy. I want them to be of good quality, proper brine,
we need more
salt.
good pickles.
Yeah. And then there's like rules that you can't call your pickles if they come from this region. And if they come from some other region, you have to call them champagne. I don't know. There's all kinds of rules.
Yeah, it's like chocolate has probably a different definition in every country in the world.
German chocolate is specific, French chocolate, Swiss chocolate, very different compositions. But in the end, it's all chocolate, right? Maybe not. So what else do you guys have going on at Nodl? Are you going to any of the conferences here in the future?
We are going to the Lightning Conference in Berlin next week.
I'm going to that. I'm going to be doing the same exact thing. We'll have to hang out, see if anything's changed.
Very excited about that, and actually things will change.
Yeah, nice.
We have a few announcements in store for the conference.
Excellent. Lightning features, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Throwing the bolts down from the mountain.
Yeah, there are new fun additions coming to Lightning, and
I think this couch is going to work better at Lightning. I think this couch, it might be a little like Bitcoin is a little slow on the couch, but the Lightning guys, I don't know if Jack Mahlers is going to be there, but I want to meet him in person. I'll bet he can kick my butt in chess.
We just met him in Paris 2 days ago.
Did he beat you in chess? He's so good. He can do speed chess.
At drinking beer, he's pretty good too.
Yeah, he's pretty good. he looks pretty young. I'll bet I could drink him under the table, but I'd probably lose in chess. So, but you know,
we'll try that in
strengths. You got to
Berlin.
have different strengths. Drink him under the table first, then beat him in chess. Aha. I like Jack. It's super cool. It's a funny story. His mom, not exposing him here, but his mom's on Twitter. She's like at Bitcoin Mom or something. She's been following me for years. And she used to tell me stories about her son who was a chess champion who played speed chess. And he used to write, I don't know, some kind of programs about chess and like tracking his moves and something and just all this stuff. It sounded really cool. And I wanted to meet him then. But now he's Jack Mallers from the Zap project and all these things, and he writes a big Lightning wallet. So I think he's more famous than me now. So now we really got to meet. But maybe it'll happen in Berlin.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I'll be there, and the couch will be there, and then I'm heading on to Bitbrum in Birmingham. Are you going there?
No, we'll skip that one.
Oh, you got to go. It's going to be in England, the real England, the hard Brexit England. It's right around November 1st. Every time I go to England, they say they're going to leave the EU, but they haven't yet. I was there last time in June. They didn't leave. They kicked it down the road another 6 months. And then now here it is again, November 1st, the day after Halloween. Could be Brexit Day.
I don't believe.
That's just the continent talking. No one thought that they would vote yes, but they clearly voted yes, 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 yes. And whether it was a mistake or whatever it was, the vote is in the can. They can't change it now. They've tried. They can't seem to have a second referendum for some reason. Obviously, they'd lose terribly.
Yeah, just make people vote until you get the expected results.
There you go. That's democracy, right? You have more votes. So that's great. And what else do you guys have planned for the future? Anything beyond that, or we're just going into winter hibernation with everyone else?
Yeah, I think we'll have a little hibernation, although we are working on December.
Always working. Always
it's
working.
always summer somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I hear. I think a friend of mine, he said Barcelona is too cold and they're going to Bali. Sounds nice. Sounds nice.
Yeah, and then the next big thing is Bitcoin 2020.
Oh, yeah.
That's
San
a big
Francisco
one for us.
with that, what's it called? Blockchain magazine?
Yeah,
Altcoin magazine. Oh, Bitcoin magazine.
Bitcoin mag, yeah.
I remember that. They used to be all about the Bitcoin. Then something happened.
Yeah, last year that conference was pretty funny because every other person coming to our booth was asking, so when are you adding more coins to your device?
What
Have
kind of a
the sign
Bitcoin
at the
conference
entrance?
is this? Yeah. No, I think they're still a little unclear on that. It's great to see them come back, but also I remember when they left. So it's hard to forget.
Some of them will be in Berlin as well.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Always good to see fellow BTC media companies. Every media in this space should be owned by David Bailey or Coinbase. That's what I think. Seemed like a nice guy. I met him once, far before he bought Let's Talk Bitcoin, Decentralized Magazine, Blockchain Magazine, Y Combinator Magazine, Y Bitcoin Magazine, all these magazines. It's just amazing how many
That's
things
a good name for a
one
magazine,
person
Y
can own.
Bitcoin Magazine.
Yeah, no, they did. Before they bought Decentralized, they used to do Y Bitcoin, but unfortunately it wasn't WHY Bitcoin. It was Y the letter. So I don't know, some kind of Gen X, Gen Y, Y chromosome, X chromosome thing. It seemed misplaced, but had a lot of great advertisements. You could almost say it was full of advertisements. You could say it was mostly advertisements. Maybe it was all advertisements, but it was great, right? Really pushed the journalism, lever far.
We love advertising at Nodl. We do a lot of advertisements.
Advertising is the best. They paid me to say that. But nah, it's great. They're great. It's going to be awesome. But yeah, we're having a great time here in Transylvania. It's day 2 of the conference. It's going on to day 3.
It's a nice discovery. I mean, I've never been in Romania and obviously not in Cluj, and it's a very nice city.
Seems all right. I got an incredible deal at breakfast today. I went to the market, got bananas, a water bottle, a croissant or a donut or something, and a Sprite, all for $2.64. It's unbelievable. Nice. Like, people are outside. They only look in. They don't actually want to participate. We have 4 microphones. That's 2 microphones more than the conference. Personally, I think you could get 8 people on this thing with 4 microphones, and I'm even willing to move the camera back. That's right. I'm motioning to the entire audience There's so many people here. They're all thinking about coming down. Don't everybody move at once. Stay where you are.
Should grab someone.
If you want to leave, you have to get someone new. Otherwise, you have to stay forever. And I'm sure that's not what you want. But now you're here forever.
I'm cool here.
Have you read any good books lately?
I'm trying to finish my airplane book. It's a sovereign individual.
Okay.
I'm like 1/4 of the book through.
It's a nonfiction libertarian book.
It starts to be interesting.
I wasn't crazy about the current book I was reading in the first section, but now I'm well into it in the second and third sections.
Actually, I'm listening more to books than reading paper books because I don't have time and place to do that. I just finished Edward Snowden's book, and I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I'd like to read that. I really like Snowden.
I think he's still maybe a little too paranoid.
Just a little.
There is a little of exaggeration in the book, but yeah, mostly it's important to let people know what's going on.
Yeah.
And his personal life story is fascinating.
It is interesting that he was right, and they were recording us and they were watching us all the time, and they were doing all these things, and they changed it just a little bit, but really no one cared, did they? I mean, a lot of people just don't care.
People just record themselves all the time and post it all around.
Yeah. It's everywhere. Yeah, I'd like to check out the Snowden book. That'd be a good one. And also, I kind of want the hard copy so I could do the picture thing. Everyone's like taking pictures of themselves with the Snowden book. That looks fun. But
yeah, and as Matt says, no one can confiscate your paper book. I mean, harder than the online version.
The Kindle could be Kindle book could be taken back from me, edited, changed. I'd have no idea. It would just say updating, and then the new version would arrive.
Yeah.
But I am enjoying very much right now Fail by Neil Stephenson. I always say that wrong. It's probably Stephenson. But it's really good. There's this computer geek guy. He's super rich like Bill Gates, and he dies. But he's got a contract. They're supposed to keep his brain alive in a computer. So this kicks off a whole arms race of putting brains in computers and how are we going to do it and which company is going to get the brain and all this kind of stuff. And that was all kind of interesting. But let's put all that aside because in part 2, Moab, Utah gets nuked by a nuclear bomb in the middle of America. Just, and everyone's like, whoa, Moab, it's gone. You know, mother of all bombs, and it's gone. But it's a hoax. It's an internet hoax. They cut the town off the internet. They set up fake roadblocks. They faked the video. They faked the other video. And they made $100 million selling the fake videos to the media. They only cost them $1 million for the operation. Incredibly successful. But what's so interesting is even after it's exposed as a fake and they go there and say, you know, physics still works on Tuesday. You know, if you're going to blow up buildings, you're going to leave behind all these traces and 3 buildings come down instead of 2 and 2 airplanes disappear. And Moab, Utah is actually fine. The people are there. They're totally fine. Nothing happened. But
that doesn't happen today.
No, not at all. Nothing like this has ever happened before at the Gulf of Tonkin. But it's just so funny because half the people on the internet still believe that Moab was bombed, and they believe it was a conspiracy.
Just yesterday in France, we had big news because some guy was allegedly arrested in Scotland, and after one night they discovered it wasn't the guy they thought he was.
So, it's always good to press release that one before you know it. Yeah.
It was all over the news for the whole night.
Well, I remember when they told us that we would figure out everything that happened because those people had shorted the airline stocks. And we would know right away who had done it because they knew to short the airline stocks before the Moab, Utah disaster. But it's great. Half the internet believes that Moab was nuked, even though it was not. And this leads to a big problem of trust and who can we trust. And this guy Pluto comes along. And he's one of these other rich computer geeks, and he's got a solution. He's going to bury all the true information with false information. He's created these APEs, these apes, and he's going to send them out. And this lady was having a hard time. The internet was being cruel to her. So he's like, we're going to be 10,000 times more cruel. We're going to accuse you of every single thing, so much so that no one will believe any of these accusations because they're so obviously false. We're going to fill every comment section on the internet, every place that anything could be written will be filled with 1,000 messages destroying your character, so much so that no one will believe it. And his theory is that he's going to push people into what we all want, this cryptographic blockchain signed internet. I use my key. I signed it. It's on there. That's my spam. And the only way to publish is to sign, that kind of thing. The only problem is it backfires. There's just so much junk, and people go the other way. They don't go to his beautiful cryptographic signed internet. They start using editors to see the internet. And you have to pay an editor. If you can pay a good editor, you get good internet. If you pay a bad editor, you get poor internet.
Yeah, and there are so many lookalike websites. I see my parents, for example, every, I mean, 9 times out of 10, they think they are on a website which is like some big news website, but they're actually on some scammy website. Or they install some app and it's actually just a bad copy for a lot of money of an app which actually exists and is legit. Like last time, my father downloaded the Metronome app. I receive, because we have like a family account on iTunes, and I received the invoice for $8 per week for this app, just for a Metronome.
Oh no! Oh, that's so simple. Like, and to do a subscription service, what a horrible scam. You get new Metronome skins every week.
There are plenty of apps like that on the stores.
Yeah, every time I use my dad's computer, he's got a new like search bar installed, or his homepage is going to some random
Does he
web
still have
page.
some place under the search bars? Or just
It gets pretty bad. Like I've seen it down to 2 or 3 search bars, but I'm like, you don't need this, you don't need this, and he's got a Mac, so he's pretty secure and all those things, better than he was before. But yeah, it's still amazing. They sneak all that stuff by. If you click and it's not their fault. You know, if you click the wrong OK button, you click the wrong website, a couple of sequences in, and you know.
Yeah, just
boom.
recently there was an update for Safari, and after changing your default password, please update Safari.
Please update Safari. It's not
actually, a website could launch a download of a file in the background without you seeing it very clearly. So now when a website tries to download a file, first time it asks you if you authorize this website to download files to your computer.
Oh, that's good.
And they were distributing like some Mac cleaner.pkg, so it looks like a legit app for cleaning your Mac. It was actually a virus.
All those Mac cleaners seem like viruses anyway. They always screw things up. All they do is get rid of the temp files or some kind of like sneaky thing. I'm like, I don't really know what you're doing, so it's probably not a good idea. Have you seen The Joker yet?
No.
I want to see it, but I'm on this tour. I can't seem to break off and see a movie.
I have kids. I have no time to go to the cinema. And I have my third kid, the Nodl, to take care of.
Oh. Yeah, I at first they told me it was too violent and too extreme. But then Michael Moore wrote a big review of how it's like an allegory for our society and our times, and people just can't stand it. They can't stand looking at it because it's a mirror, and the Joker is us, and no one wants to be presented in that light. But if that's where we are, if that's what's happening, you know, we've got to face it, even if we face it through art. So I got to see that movie. Unlike the movies I saw on the airplane.
What was it?
Well, I saw Tolkien. That was very good. That was the top, of course. Then I saw Detective Pikachu. That was pretty good. I'm not a big Pokemon guy, but they were very real. They looked like the animation looked really cool. It was like a world where all the animals were Pokemon. It was pretty strange. And it had Van Wilder as the voice of Detective Pikachu. So I like that. Then I watched Due Date with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr., the great actor. And unfortunately, he's stuck on this cross-country road trip with Galifianakis, and Galifianakis is just wrecking everything.
Yeah, I know that one.
A disaster. And then Robert Downey Jr. starts being really mean to him, and you're like, well, he's a disaster, but you don't have to be so mean to him. You know, he's like a big kid. You just want to like, you know, hug him and say, do better, just stop being so stupid. But he's really stupid. So yeah, at other points you're like, Robert Downey Jr. is right. You should smash him. And then I watched Father Figures with Ed Helms and Owen Wilson, and they're both looking for their fathers. And at one point they think it's Terry Bradshaw, and that was pretty interesting, the football player. So